welcome to Tyranny. Yeah. There we go. We have the DLCs and all the stuff working. But yeah. So basically, I was gonna wait until after Baldur's Gate and Pillars of Eternity. But yeah, we're doing it now. Also after Divinity. But Baldur's Gate's, so off on hold. Divinity needs work. Yeah. But there's a bit of audio distortion, which is bothering me. Because apparently I'm downloading and that's causing my shit to not work right? Question mark? What happens if I pause the download? Does my audio get fetched? Do I have to restart my computer? Let's find out. That's gonna be fucking annoying. Because I need stuff to do while my download's going on, but downloads cause my shit to lag up. Weird. Also, this music swears way too loud. So I start the download and up, now it's just, there's no connections. Yay. Super. Great. Fuck's sakes. Oh no, you paused down. Oh, nope, there it goes. Now it's starting again. Which means it's probably gonna start lagging again. Fuck's sakes. But anyway. So, Tyranny. It's one of those games that Obsidian decided that we were going to start doing old school style RPGs like Baldur's Gate. The game Pillars of Eternity was pretty great. It used something that wasn't exactly the, well, Infinity engine. Not exactly the whole D&D 2nd or 2.5 edition rules. But worked. Pillars of Eternity 2, though, it's, I don't even know what it uses. It's different. And that bothers me. Something about rest and short rest, like long rest and short rest, or shit like that bothered me. But anyway, Tyranny is sort of like Pillars of Eternity, but not exactly. You'll see once we get into it. Also, I have things set for character death, enemy spot, hidden objects found, stuff like that. Because, Oops, window keeps moving. Basically, this game didn't do as well as it could have. One of those games that really feels like it should have had a sequel, but it didn't. And that symbol really reminds me of the Starforge symbol from KOTOR. But anyway. Some new game settings. You can do expert mode, which is a bad idea. Trial volume, which is also a really bad idea. Path of the Damned, hard. That's just Pillars of Eternity. Yeah, we'll do normal, because normal seems more fitting for us, so we don't overstress ourselves. But yeah, Tyranny. With each level your character gains, you can increase one attribute and purchase one new talent. Ooh. Now, however, the audio is not as distorted as it was.
For over 400 years, the armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world.
Hearing some audio.
All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spymaster and archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tunon, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions. Tunon brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
It's the weirdest shit. It's like, oh, you're downloading. Well, we're just gonna break the audio. Oh, stuff. In the Northern Empire, where you were born, men enjoy equal protections under the laws of the Overlord Kairos. By the way, Kairos is the name of legend. For centuries, the Overlord has constellary powers. The vast armies to swallow entire realms. It's a powerful mission the world has ever seen. Kairos can issue edicts, magical proclamations that level cities, spread pots, sunder the lands, or change the course of seasons. Very powerful shit. The Archons master the magic throughout the known world power to Kairos, and the Overlord rarely destroys any Archons unwilling to kneel. These sorcerers and madmen lead the Overlord's armies in near endless conquests as the realms of the known world fall to the Overlord. These captured territories are divvied up among the Archons the Mage, able to deliver suffering and woe to every corner of Tetris without leaving the capital. We've ever seen the Overlord in person. The Kairos name is the single most recognized name in the world. Only the Archons can say what the Overlord looks like. So basically, Kairos is just something in the background. You don't have to worry about Kairos. Kairos is just... they exist. That's basically it. Men may own capital ships for road stations to women. And may lease for durable ownership of the land and the territories for asses, their daughters or sisters. Our sons enter the powers for by the maintains those about professional family lands. To work and find first by pledging service to one of the Overlord's mighty Archons, criminals, steroids, and overs are often conscripted in the armies of the Archons. Protected our fortress zones, steam, you will certainly find one in battle. So it could be, so apparently it's different from male and female. They're also locking up once I choose female. Those are body types. Again, can you stop trying to lock up? Jesus. Can't get pale enough though. Sad. But anyway. Well, so I think we can only be human, which is also a sad thing. And portraits. Oh shit, I don't think I have it. Hope I do have my portraits. Because I don't have any of my good portraits, but I do have my portraits. Where is my portrait? There's my portrait. One I've been using since Baldur's Gate. So yeah, the audio's gonna be distorted. It's gonna be a bit laggy because I don't know why it wants to be that way. I can't really fix it unless I stop downloading, but I need stuff to do while I'm downloading, so we're doing this. So it's complicated like that. How's the hair color? Sadly, we can't have it pink, but you know. How's my face? If we could be very static. I sort of like the first one. Hell, we could have hell. We could have no hell. We could have some hell. Do we have a good ponytail though? Probably not. Too much effort. Too much effort. Everything looks a bit blocky, don't it? That's probably the best we're gonna get, sadly. Yeah. Okay, how about a good build? Okay, that's not a good build. That looks like something you would attach to, I don't know, like a Lego or something. No. And that one we might have to rely on. Do we have a good mutton stash though? Well, that's a stash, but not mutton stash. There's the mutton stash. We could go full build, or go mutton stash. I think we're going mutton stash. And yeah. But how do we have for voice?
That wasn't so hard. Quiet down.
And
My
yeah,
wounds are slowing me down. I need rest.
Oh well.
Right. Interesting. Trouble is afoot.
You learn something every day. Yeah, I'll just hold on to this. On the lookout. I must rest soon.
We could be
Yes.
female.
Heads up, we have company.
You learn something every day. I'll just hold on to
I like
this.
her voice.
Ah, got it. My wounds are slowing me down. Interesting.
To battle! Good work. You learn something every day.
Aggressive.
This will be fun.
Okay, and now we need to go on to the other thing. Look how much shit we have to go through. Don't like Pillars of Eternity, but yeah, I think Pillars of Eternity actually had less things. But then again, you had an entire party to manage in that compared to this. The only problem though is this: you can't have custom party members, which is unfortunate. Not sure. I thought I was gonna have like my usual party for Baldur's Gate and Pillars of Eternity. But here's the thing, the game really wants you to use like like for example Divinity. Divinity, you can have your own custom party member. Or you can actually have mercenary custom party members. But it favors having the origin characters. Like, you know, Red Prince, Lowe's, all of them, Thane. It favors more of them for story purposes. Which the same could really be said about Pillars of Eternity. They want you to use the created NPCs for that. Could also be the same for, you say, Baldur's Gate, technically. Because, like, NPCs have their stories. We just had a fully customized party. And then we lost Vorshun, and I got pissed off and stopped playing. Fun times. But yeah. I think for Pillars of Eternity I might have one or two of our people. Sadly, I don't think I can have Jim Cummings. I can't even have him really in Baldur's Gate 2, and that makes me sad, because he was, you know, he was one of the ones for Baldur's Gate 1. Then he's gone in Baldur's Gate 2, and it's like, wait, but I made a character specifically for that. Then his voice is just gone. That makes me sad. So, how did you join Kairos Army? Today you are Fatebinder, agent of the Archon of Justice. You are by no means free, but as a warrior scholar authorized with discretionary powers to interpret and execute the laws of the Overlord Kairos, you are freer than most. One does not apply to be a Fatebringer once called by Tanan, the advocator of the Archon of Justice, over the conquered realms and arbiter disputes. Basically, he's basically the judge. The Archon of Justice and decree is death. Millions of men and women live in the dozens of realms ruled by the Overlord. How did you stand out from amongst these teeming massive desperation and insignificance to gain the Archon's notice? That's a good question. How did we? Well, it could be a pit fire. But I don't know what these do right now. Like, I sort of need to see my stats for what these actually do. But it could be a pit fire. It could be a soldier, hunter, lawbreaker, war mage. Yeah, the problem is it's not really telling me what stats it gives me, and that's unfortunate. It could be a diplomat. Pet fire, soldier, lawbreaker. Noble Scion. I do like being a noble, though. Nothing's really been as great at being a noble in most games since, you know, Dragon Age Origins. Being a dwarf noble in that was pretty freaking great. Like, just Gorm. Speak on my behalf. Fun times. But here's the thing, these don't really tell me what they give me, and that's a bad thing. So you were trained in the following combat style, javelins, ugh. I think this here actually probably doesn't really matter too much. Except for, like, conversations and shit. Lore purposes. It doesn't really matter to stats. So yeah. But anyway, these matter for stats. So you know where I'm gonna go, right? You know I'm gonna go fucking great sword. And what else do I want? No. Apparently I have that now. Javelin? No. I think we only can really choose, well, we have to choose the primary one and then the second one. Dual wielding's a thing. Unarmed combat? Yeah, sure, that's a thing. Oh, we get a different outfit for that. Short bow. What about a long bow? Could be a wizard. Oh. Shock spells. Control lightning. Magic staffs. Frost spells. Control that. Not sure why I want to go. Granting bonuses to yourself and allies. Ooh. That might not be bad. Atrophy. Towards mine. Like, I'm not entirely sure why I want to go as. Like, of course I'm going to go, you know, great sword though. Choose an ability. Do I want to sunder things? Or do I want to cleave things? Yeah, of course I want to cleave. Because cleave, AoE. So no, they're not secondary. Secondary actually has to feel over things, like spear and shield instead of sword and shield. War mace. War mace is, yeah. More two-handed weapons. Now we get Sunder. As if we really want to just focus on, you know, two-handed weapons. Which is a bit tempting to go just full two-handed weapons, to be honest. But we can also go shock spells, bigger spells. Bigger spell doesn't sound that bad. I mean, We'll give us bonuses to might and vitality. And we'll give us lore. But I want to see athletic now. Just making sure there's no... Ah, there's subterfuge. Yeah, that's the problem though, we don't have any subterfuge. Subterfuges, yeah. Helps us find shit. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go... sort of a battle mage. Because, hey, it buffs me. It'll do. We'll see how it plays. Yeah. As I said, here for example is an example of why this game isn't like Pillars of Eternity. Already we don't have a dedicated class system. For us anyway. We basically choose this and this. Because it's not a dedicated class system, it's basically you choose which weapon you want and which other weapon you want. And then decide from there. Like, we could go all over the board. Well, basically, well, whatever we choose to be. So, colors. We could go that. Sadly, we can't change that color, which bothers me a bit. And that is not pink. So we're probably just gonna go red. A dark red. Maybe. Yeah. Because that is not pink. That is... No. Well, yeah, I prefer that black, so... Maybe we'll just stay black. Yeah, nah, that's fine. I think we could change that later on if need be. Now then, for our banner, we can have, you know... That one's not as intricate. I do like that. It's not as intricate as, say, like frickin' Diablo 3's banners, which was a thing. But look at all these banners. It's more disenfowled, if anything. Do I have custom banners for this? I'm pretty sure I have custom banners. There we go. Nice how they're not showing up. Lovely. My banners aren't working right. Oh, here we go. Here's some. There's some. That looks like some My Little Pony. Yeah. Yeah, the Shrug banner. That's almost perfect for us. Cheese. Banana. Why are half my banners missing though? I don't really know. Chaos. That right there though, that right there looks like my banner. Yep. Yeah. Wait, no, black banner, red sword, yes. Crimson blade all up and down. That right there's almost fitting though. Problem is it doesn't show up as well as it should. So yeah. That's meh. That's too bright. Yeah. That'll do. Oh, and of course we are balls. Because of course we are. And finally shouldn't the name be like the last thing? You'd think it would be. But now we finally have our attributes. Also, yeah, I'm pretty sure in Baldur's Gate attributes were like way uphill. Before we even got to looks. Yeah. So might determines the physical strength of a character. As you know, it has a thing over it because it's strongly recommended because you'll use a greatsword. And Viger spells. Which is recommended because the Viger resolve is recommended because of that. Which would be our magic, basically. Finesse is in accuracy, armor deflection. Meh. Quickness is the building spell cooldown. Tempting. By the way, we want might. Might lower might a bit and get 2 in resolve. Yeah, that seems fine for starting out. For starting out, anyway. Since I can't fit the alpha ones. Well, I could lower them. Can't I? Yeah, I could lower my accuracy. That seems smart. That's fine. Their skills. We have 20 points available, but we can't really lower skills. But 200 weapons we can raise up. We can add points of bows, dual wield, one-hand weapons, unarmed combat, whatever. We can increase our magic thing for control Viger. I'm sure we'll get other magics later on, of course. Support skills. Subterfuge is our trap thing. We don't really have points in it. I want points in lore. And athletics. And a bit though. Can I get lore up to 40? Probably not going to be using Magic Stick that much. Unless I have to use Magic Stick to use Control Viger, but yeah. Yeah, boop boop. So how do you want to continue? Selecting the Conquest option will allow you to play through cards as Conquest of the Tiers, choosing how your character was involved in the invasion. This gives you the most control over your starting state of the game and how alpha factions react to your character. Or we could do a quick start. So basically this here's all that. I believe we want to do Conquest. Cause why not? Gets the most out of it. So how did we do things?
All the world has fallen to Kairos. And now the Overlord's eye is on the Tiers, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior. In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tiersmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tiers sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors. Until it's too late.
Welcome to the Conquest. During Conquest, you decide your character's actions during Kairos' invasion of the Tiers, shaping the world through which you will venture over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the Tiers respond to you. Your decisions matter, do shit. 428, here you are, year 1 of Kairos' Conquest. Now the Bastard City stood on the northern border between Kairos' empire and the Tiers, built upon a natural harbor. At the crossroads between realms, the city was a nexus of commerce to the Tiers was the center of all wealth. To a northerner, it was a little more than a backward trading post. Its status as a gateway to the continent made it the natural first target in Kairos' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kairos' armies, taking the serious and message to the rest of the Tiers. Kairos' way was insurmountable. So what did you do? So you could infiltrate the Tills. History will remember the Gates of Judgment at the first battle of the Conquest, but the real combat forward with advanced units of both armies prepared for the coming war. The disfavored and Skulkers each had planned to infiltrate the capital city. Which army did you join? Or we could go to the Gates of Judgment. The armies of Kairos to the battle to the Gates of Judgment. Between the opening call of the Conquest of the Tills, the two armies, the disfavored and Skulkers brought their distinctive sense of order and chaos to the assault. You went to battle alongside the army whose approach best suited your strengths. So, we could join the Skulkers. You rushed with the chaotic mass of the Skulkers, flanked the bastard city's army, and drove them to flee. Or we could join the disfavored. It's very, which one do you want to join? I forget if you can get on both sides good sides. Because I sort of wrote that whole opposing factions thing. But depends, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? Which one do I favor more? Do the disfavored or basically elite soldiers? The Scarlet Crusade or basically a swarm of mercenaries and shit that they're just conscripted and hey, serve or die basically. But I think I'm going to probably go mostly disfavored, to be honest. So staying shield-to-shield cards ironclad elite, you advance on the mercenary army purchased by the nobles of the bastard city. But the Legion wanted to send a message to the Tills. Superior breeding and disciplined training would win the day. Oh, that superior breeding. So the bastard city learned to like that. The militaries earned and never bought. The mercenary army quickly found themselves outclassed by the superior tactics and formation of the disfavored. Disfavored, by the way. The disciplined battle hardened the disfavored or elite Legion and Kairos' army. That was that. These few who lived to the end of the battle were those few who lived to the end of the battle were rounded up. The weak and secured, and the strong enslaved to be able to haul the army's wagons on the journey south. However, we're not done yet. So, against the most optimistic projections, the disfavored started nature work for the local defenses. It's worth it that the armies quickly outpaced their supply caverns. Troops were plentiful, but food was scarce. You only had time to execute one plan. It's good. You could pillage farmlands with the Scarlet Chorus to send their horde out to pillage from. Yeah. So basically, do you want to keep helping the disfavored or do you want to help them? Or we could. Soldiers of the church fell by the hundreds and Kairos' armies could not agree on how to handle what few survivors they dragged back to camp. Befitting your role, the commanders turned to you to decide the fate of those who occupy prison pens. There were only enough prisoners to support the plan of a single army. So basically we could do like the Scar Chorus which conscripts them. Or we could enslave them. Here's the thing. As I said, I'm probably going disfavored, so I could mix it up, but yeah. Needed slaves to hold the guild, dig the trees to keep their pallets warm at night. You can send the survivors of battle to their subsequent row among General Ash's noble troops. Yeah, here's slaves. Go have fun. And we get judge things, because we're a fate binder. I mean, or we could to confiscate food and supplies from traveling merchant caravans. But, not judging. Wounded, demoralized by prior defeat, the soldiers of the terrors put minimal resistance to their new Sassafras military. The disfavored enjoyed the luxury of putting hours to work and allowing themselves to grow soft, running away from manual duties and focusing instead on a rigorous training regimen that left them alert and eager for combat. You gave the terror slaves their first assignment, digging a mass grave outside the gates of judgment. Will clarifies more the passage of Kairos' army. The armies of Kairos amassed around the bastard city, the first bastion of the terrors to fall. Both armies launched to storm the walled outpost. Scarface armies were plundering the disfavored, forming an unbreakable shield wall. Your powers on the field of battle had carried them this far, but there was one more step before total victory. Both of the armies had inspired schemes to take the bastard city. Which did you support? So decisions. We also gained ability for this. You joined the disfavored vanguard and dread assault upon the city's gates. No fortification would stand before the unstoppable legion. And you gain Warrior's Respite. Once per encounter. Background, during this time you regenerate health for your oh jeez, that's bad. You join the Scar Crush and send fire to the city and blocking the gates. Its advantage would surrender or burn. So I can set things on fire. Okay. Or I could you lead them in band of disfavored and Scar scouts over the city watch the sabotage. Ah, jeez, but all these abilities aren't that great. Like, hey, you regenerate, but you take. You don't fuck it. We'll use this absorb as a heal, I guess, cause, yeah. I mean, I could set things on fire. But yeah. Oh well, we helped the disfavored vanguard and dread assault upon the city's gate. With heroic courage and legendary determination, the disfavored battered the gates of the bastard city to splinters. Yay. Oops, move the thing again. Those who fell under the consistent hail powers, cascades of boiling pitch left the battlefield temporary, only to appear hours later as Archon. Graven ashes protection healed their numerous wounds. Time the gates gave way and Kairos' forces spilled inside the city's walls with resounding cheers of victory. Yay. However, to you say of no mercy. With every tower displaying Kairos banner, your name was whispered alongside rumors of a decorated career to come. The army deferred into two fronts of Micro itself. Tanyan sent word that you were to join the next frontier of Kairos' conquest, either as judge and overseer of the ceremony of Lifrian's Crossing, or as a war advisor with the armies advancing into the realm of Apex. So, Apex. The troops of the mountain realm of the Apex stood idle in the safety of their valley, buying time as though neighbors in the pasture till fell. Second year of the war, joint forces of the Disferian and Scar Corps crossed over the mountains to take control of the Tier Center Valley, or could go to Lifrian's Crossing. Pacify made the ceremony of Lifrian's Crossing a strategic war as Kairos of the Forge bound. Smith mages of exceptional skill to establish a flow of weaponry, turning in the abdicator. Sent one of his faith partners to ensure the enforcement of Kairos' law. You know, let's go be a ruler for a while. They went to Lifrian's Crossing. 429. Yo 2. Kairos' Conquest. Years ago, Lifrian the Bold formed a small merchant town at an intersection with the ancient old walls. The path between the settlers and a mercenary company meant the caravans were able to travel without fear of bandits or bane, and the town thrived from modest insignificance. Lifrian's Crossing drew Kairos' attention for the iron deposits in the surrounding hills. With the region under Kairos' control, the Northern Smith mages could set up workshops to refine ore and arm the disfavored with the finest weapons in the known world. The Arcus Seekers dismantled the mercenary support with a generous bribe, taking the crossing in a bloodless victory. Tyranny dispatched you to travel alongside Kairos' forces to bring ore to the region. So what do we want to do? The iron must flow. So the Smith waged worked day and night to create weapons no one fought with their dedication, yet production was low. The plans that came to light proved divisive to the disfavored Scarlet Corps. On one hand, any additional manpower is needed for fighters, not forgers. On the other hand, the celebrated weapon requires his armies need to be fiercely guarded. So as a disfavored, we could draw from the Scarlet Corps recruits. Two refugees from the recent plus of force of the Cars military. You report these individuals the whole wagons vying for the Smith mages. This proved an inconvenience to the Scarlet Crusade Corps, who would be angry at me again. Or I can conscript a tribe of beastmen. What else do we have? Oh, the Cult of Siren. Siren. Archon song used her arcane charm to lure locals into joining Kyrus' army as a patroness of the Scarlet Corps. Her efforts were critical to the conscription of new recruits when throughout disfavored soldier joined the cult. The company felt that the Archon was growing out of control and needed to be stopped. So I could send her to the Vanguard, or I could destroy her cult. But I'm pretty sure this is not going to set well with her for me doing this. But the disfavored demand of the Archon song cease to recruit my predecessors, and that they be allowed to finally subdue her cult followers. The loss of soldiers was a significant setback to the Scarlet Corps' conscription efforts. Ah well, fuck their cult. Sponsored role in the Archon song departed to accompany bitter silence. Oops. But not before releasing our arcane hold over the latest batch of recruits. I'm sure that's not going to have negative consequences. The disfavored remained obstinate that the dispersal of her cult continue as planned, hunting down the confused and memory-stricken innocents they put to death. Those who they couldn't be into obedience, the Scarlet Corps barely restrained themselves from their identity, which proved a major setback to those armies' strength and numbers. So they're pissed at me again. I haven't really been helping them at all, so. Drawn to arcane energy around the fortress, mystical predators from the nearby old walls began to raid the crossing at all hours. Both Kyrus' armies reserved their strength for the front lines of the war, yet the city required protection. So. Choose them. Choose them. Well, how about the Red Amp? One Kyrus assist mages for allegiance to the Scarlet Corps. Jealousy hoarding the secret of Iron Fortune, the disfavored demanded that Smith from me return. The Scarlet Corps insisted they were within the rights. Since the Smith mage would not willingly return to work, you enlisted this favor to return him there in chains. Sounds about right. This favor correctly argued that iron production was to fight toward to the conquest, and no interruption could be tolerated. Trying for Kyrus' law, you were that one bound to the forge had no right to disobey the Overlord's will. You sentenced the mage to return to its former duties, this time as a slave, and suddenly instructed everyone to get the fuck back to work. Probably gonna have negative consequences though, that. Also, who controlled the crossing? Tragedy struck when a mercenary hired by the voices of Neurot injured a forge-bound artist, and by the way, the voices of Neurot. Known in its official credits as the Archon's secret, he is equal parts genius and madman. He's a thing. And in charge of the Scarlet Corps. Leaving him unable to practice Kyrus, Tyrion ordered the mercenaries to leave the city in the hands of Kyrus' more responsible servants. One token garrison could be left behind while the armies returned to the front. As the disfavored guards showed, increased attention and hostility toward each other turned to decidedly best that only one force controlled the crossing. So who controlled the crossing? Well, we've been favoring them this entire time, so of course we're going to favor them still. I mean, why would I choose the Scarlet Corps at this point? The disfavored placed the modest garrison in the center of Weapons Crossing, though the force was larger than might be needed to police a smaller settlement. Protecting the forge-bound ironments became the true agenda of the defense forces. These magical craftsmen kept the disfavored invasion force suited in iron. Relieved in the porch of the Scar Course, the citizens left crossing felt they got the least of 2 birds. You received word from Graven Ash, by the way, last of the great Northern generals are standing against Overlord in ages past. Archon Graven Ash now serves Kyrus as the supreme commander of the Disfavored Legion, charged with conquering the Tales. I like Graven Ash, to be honest. But I also sort of like the forces no rot, but the Graven Ash is yeah. That's why I'm going with mostly with Disfavored. Thank you for the decision. The forge found in the weapon could not be entrusted to the forces of Nerat. Anyway. Boop. And we continue. Yeah, so much reading. With the mercenaries that's failed and Leftrands crossing under new leadership, Kyrus' forces congratulate themselves on bringing order to the settlement and guaranteeing a productive flow of resources. Over the course of this diversion, the army front advanced further into the tiers. Your scouts were, of course, needed in the realm was the Zur Stalwart of the Valium Citadel. What the hell is the Valium Citadel? Library Fortress. Ah. So, we could go to the Valium Citadel. Could go to the Valium Citadel. We could go to Azure. We could go south. This one seems more blue. The Valium Citadel kind of gates fair upon the events, treasures, its knowledge, its secrets. Or Curse dispatched the Archon Stone to subjugate the nation of Azure. Stalwart was easily defended in position which military tradition the realm was Stalwart. It's the most formidable realm in the Tales. You know what? We're gonna go to Stalwart. Why not? But I forget what does these even really do for me. But anyway, we're going downhill. Year 3 of Kyrus' Conquest. Almost through the fucking counter creation. So the realm of Stalwart was best known for its proud army, disciplined and courageous, and undefeated on the home soil. Skill and result made Stalwart the military power the Kyrus forces approach with due caution. For its own position, Stalwart had been largely safe in war. Watching for 2 years as his neighbors failed to Kyrus forces. On the dawn of the third year, Kyrus forces were finally poised to invade the Stalwart Peninsula and subdue the Tyr's most vaunted army. So what do we do? To defeat at the hands of the enemy defenders, the Scar Course accused the Disfavored of recklessness, as the Disfavored claimed the Scars brought 2 fewer soldiers to kill the flanks. So we could honor their reputation, or we could punish the Disfavored commander. Or we could marching on enemy. The Stalwart defenders burned the crops as they retreated, leaving the Inferiors littered to forage, starving the Scarcrow's mob raided from the Disfavored's well-maintained supply lines, incurring casualties on both sides. So you order the thieving Scarcrows to be spied for the overrun. Yes, that sounds about right. Even in time of war, there's no excuse for allied armies to batter each other in violation of Kyrus' peace. Disfavored rightly argued that they only had enough supplies to feed their troops. The Scarcrows needed to better look after their own people. Agreeing with their assessment, you had the defenders staked outside the Scarcrows camp. After sending a message that hunger was no shield from justice. So what do I do next? Scarcrows mages discovered a spell to turn beastmen slaves against their handlers. They only prepared to deploy this after elsewhere, but the disavowed protested the use of unsanctioned magic practice ran contrary to Kyrus' law. Or I could rather than cement the Scarcrows. Conscription. Conquered locals began committing suicide. Whoops. Desperate to add more bodies to the horde, the Scarcrows demanded portion of disfavored prisoners. Denied the right of recruitment as the realm's population had taken a steep decline. No, you banned the guards from recruiting in it. The realm Senate, going so far as notifying the locals to search the fields. No, you don't get that. You agree that his favorite argument is this conquest was never about ruining a graveyard, but the Scar Crusader acted contrary to that goal. The Fortune and his moms blamed you for suppressing their ability to conduct war if they saw fit. By the protest, you read their proclamation in every conquered village, knowing that enemy spies would hear your verdict. This favorite carved a slow, steady path into the heart of the start, surrounding the enemy's massive fortress with the main bulk of their forces defeated. The enemy leadership retreated to the mighty fortress, continent way of the war. The Overlord entered their appearance with an Edict of Storms on the peninsula, a devastating spell that would endure for as long as the cowardly hearts of Storm's leaders persisted in being. Knowing you had the trust of Grave and Ash, Tyranny deemed you the proper representative to deliver Kairos' edict. Edicts, by the way, Kairos' most powerful magic is that of the edict. Commandments cast upon the whole region that can control and destroy man and nature alike. Once cast, an edict can rain fire, river crops, and demolish cities, usher in endless night, or do whatever the fuck it wants to. Yeah, basically Kairos writes out a thing that says, hey, this place is screwed. Aside from being given a 3-day window to either you receive no over instructions. So, attempt to inaugurate themselves with the people start the Scar insisted the more be sent to towns and villagers. Agreeing with the witches that it's favorite, you program the edict at once, leaving the enemy no time to react. Star had ample opportunity to surrender for several years. No mercy. Agreed with the disfavored rational. The leaders of solitary fierce armed while battled, and too many disfavored lives were lost in the campaign. Since the last region refused to leave the keep, you let him watch as his people suffered. Without hesitation or regret, you broke the seal key to Kairos' Edict of Storms and read the Overlord's incantation. Yeah, that's a fact. The clear skies darkened as you heard the final words of the edict. A flurry of wind and rain ripped through the rolling plains and craggy canyons, turned rocks, uprooted trees, and hapless soldiers into hazardous shrapnel. Only with a major foresight you were able to remove yourself from the area before the storms grew more violent. Over time, nearby communities told of cyclones consisting of thousands of soldiers worth of limbs, spears, armor, and skulls. Once more, the weather showed no sign of dissipating. Syrians in disfavor to fire and the enemy in spite of the advantage storm were caught up in the Overlord's magic. The fierce fires regrouped and nursed the wounds that fell atop the Silent Legion, shamed them into believing the dead more fortunate. The silent trail from years, people took to calling it the Blade Grave. The remade landscape festooned with the iron and bronze armaments of two once great legions. Kairos' force departed. It's weird. You spared a glance back at the ruins of Star, marveling at your work. You didn't have long to rest before Terran called you into service once more. Ugh, so much reading. But hey, you did the conquest. You could go back if you want to. I'm not entirely sure what all that really did for me, but let's continue. Yay, we did stuff. Also, by the way, that's a statue. That's a thing. It's bleeding blood, sure. 'Cause why not? So much reading, jeez.
The year
Is 431, and
Kairos'
invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers.
Why are you
The Younger
doing
Realms,
that?
the bastard tier.
the free cities. All who defied Kairos lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The two armies
of the
Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands.
Okay.
But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the Valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kairos have banded together in defiance.
violating an
oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have
staged a
bloody uprising, murdering the disfavored
favored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault.
Well, you guys seem stupid, don't you?
with their main forces spread across the tiers. The disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance. But months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers.
Still pretty stupid when basically Kairos controls, you know, the entire world practically, and you're just a small area down here and you're like, no, we're not gonna let you get in here. And Kairos could just basically write up an edict that basically says, all of your hearts just explode. And that will happen. Yeah. But anyway, spacebar.
The Overlord is not amused. And Kairos has one message for the Archons. Crush the Oathbreakers, or die.
Kairos backs this threat with an edict, a magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored.
Oh, that's a thing.
The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you.
Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons.
So yeah, the Overlord's just like, alright, deal with this shit. Or die. Not the fact that, you know, they could make something to get rid of the entire armies that oppose to us. No, we're just gonna make our armies do better or die. Sure.
As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kairos' magic seals
The way behind.
behind you.
Well, there you go.
You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kairos' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
And we're finally after in the game. Only shortcuts we're out. Hey, Planet Bombs, I presume we've been expecting you. Who the fuck are you? Curse the Overlord, if you praise me, I heard that much. I fear the family was sealed with you on our side. To this very warrior claps a gauntlet to oppress with the traditional salute of religion. So, disfavored. Surprised I don't have favor with them. That does not make sense. I've helped them how many times? Yeah, I don't have favor with them. What? And now we've somehow gained favor with them. Conversation for you and never killed and sometimes additional parties like bystanders, companions who may interjet. To actually make change how the story develops. And will put a rep of your character over time. People in the world will learn if your reps good and bad and respond accordingly. Should I already have points with them for all the shit I did with them? And then all the stuff adds in. Characters added for scarce history and gender. Oh god, my gender matters. As far as decision making the conquest, all add up to options for you in dialogue. Each character has a speech you had to display span beneath the portrait. These banners indicate which faction characters sound like with. You often see the names of important characters and locations displayed in Go text color stuff. The commander went say why the governor of Leftland's Crossing. We did do that. We did do that. I watch it and the disfavored soldiers think of you as the chief rainmaker of their arsenal. And I'm still thinking of the honorary governor of that place. We're becoming, but since we have no fortresses, Imagine you do not some sense at the voice of Neuron. She catches a clear interest, filled with a smile. I mean, meditate with Archon so that we might agree on plan to wipe out these Oathbreakers. So that his favorite gain major favor. We could glare silently. But we also have lots of lore, so... And let's just play it this way. You hear that humming now, like low around the rocks? The avalanche scars the magic. The Overlord just sealed the valley. We gain lore skill experience. Yay! This sounds to see more than mine. Good fate binder. I do not pretend to know much about such things, but if that was Kyra's magic and you're here on important business, well, you don't have to be the Archon Secrets to guess that you're here to proclaim it, eat it. What does Kyra's have in store with the enemy? 10 years of festering plague and need of dressing bones? So do we tell this random soldier what the edict is? Or we glare silently? I like how glare silently is just an option. You know what? Do we tell this random soldier what's on our mind? Also, look. My pose there looks like I'm about to throttle her, but yeah. Leaders that were against us, her eyes wide and feel. Harsher slackness, but the Scar Curse prevents us from taking action. Why the Overlord punished both of them? Because, forgive me, it's not my place to question. We should have conquered the enemy within weeks of arriving in the valley. The delay reflects poorly on all of us. No shit. So here's the thing. We could keep glaring silently, which game really wants me to do. If we all follow Kyra's will, and stuff that interests no harm will come to us. Some minor favor to Archons and always gonna take a sip. Of course, Kyra is displeased. We're gonna employ a subterfuge. Yeah, I might as well employ my subterfuge. Your first instinct is to blame the Scarred Curse. No wonder Kyra's resorts to eat it. It doesn't give me any of those, but yeah. Let's give experience. Yes, well, Kyra shifts aside. There has indeed been little goodwill between our armies, and you're right. When we act as we do, what choice do we give the Overlord? Takes a deep breath, nodding as she is. You're right. Not case blame so freely, especially not when talking to a servant justice. My apologies. We've traveled a long way and won't keep you further. I'm sure the Archons will want to hear from you at... Before I fall silent, her attention snapping eastward with alarm. Did you hear that? More runners. Third time this week. The Oathbreakers keep trying to send messengers to the mountains to gather help from the outside valley. Bunch of the class pathway which arrive. But a bit too late for that now. Come, let's show these Oathbreakers a good fight. So hey, tutorial battle, everyone. Shouldn't it be paused?
On it.
Since we, like, enemy sighted. Where's my pause? You're not... Yeah, I'm not trying to change the difficulty. Enemy spotted. Maybe I should put on combat start. But enemy spotted. Enemy is spotted. Shouldn't it have paused? How should we have all these 1 through 0 hotkeys for our skills? Because that's a thing. We have our dodge, or parry, or endurance defense, or will defense, or magic defense, or armor. We have our talents, which are apparently our abilities, which are up there. Guess we can thrust. That's a thing. Or we could cleave. That's also a thing. Or we could tighten touch. Yeah. So here's another thing. We don't really have a mana system. We don't really have a... You need to... rest before you can use these spells system. We have a 1 per encounter system. Pillars of Eternity had both the 1 per encounter system and the rest system, because there's like, oh well, you're using magic, well you have to rest in, right, to your spell book and rest in use a select amount of spells. You did get a number of spells, like multiple magic missiles that you could use. I think later there was also some towns that let you just have those per encounter instead of per rest, but yeah. But anyway.
Sorry, can't. Sorry, can't.
No, do that.
Can't do that.
Fuck's sakes.
Sorry, can't.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Sorry, can't.
Fine. Stab. Welcome to combat. They use the possible real-time combat system because you often manage more than one character at a time. It's a good idea to pause the game issue hours and resume. So tactics, basically. The character can always perform basic attacks using the equipped weapon, although they'll fish if fighting unarmed. Characters also have spatial abilities and spells they can use in combat. All your character's abilities and spells can be accessed by selecting the category. By using our talents, basically. Or by using our spells. We have spells. Tiny touches aren't a spell. We don't have combo abilities, we don't have artifact abilities, we don't have rep abilities, we don't have battle stance abilities. But shouldn't that be a rep ability? Ah well. We can use it once we could use it to heal ourselves, basically. We can also use a healing potion to heal ourselves. We can also just use what's on our hotkeys. We can stealth, we can scout mode. Camping supplies, which is a Pillars of Eternity thing where we had a select amount of, I think it was only like up to 4 camping supplies though. Weapon sets, quick items. Use ability left click. All characters in the game for info have 5 primary defenses against attacks, parry, periscope defense against melee attacks and spells, dodge, defense against range attacks with bow, javelins, magic, endurance, will, magic. These defenses based on the character's attributes and equipped items and other effects. Accuracy determines how far to one of the 5 defenses. 4 possible results from any attack: hit, critical hit, graze, and miss. Okay, so now that we've learned all that shit, how's my inventory? I should have some stuff, apparently. The Fate Binder seal, which is the seal the Fate Binder used to stamp documents returned said no. The modern appearance of seal is a representation of Dark's legal approval. Merely holding it impresses upon the world. There's a sense of authority. Wow, I can't cut that. Gumps gives me +2 resolve. Also Commander's Will, which is some boots. Also in our party stashes, the Edict. Scroll contains the word of courtesy to this many. You've been commanded to deliver my censure. All has not been taken by my forces, by your morning and the day of swords, all in the value of this. When the seed is past, will perish. Also armor, we can hide our helmet, which I want to do. Armor's not exactly that great, but you know, it's dark armor. What do you expect? Bronze greatsword, Lesser Staff of Titans. Boots though, I want those boots. Oh, balls gonna equip this. Cleansing Victory, eh? Fuck's Cleansing Victory. Passive arrow, removes a hostile veteran kill. Passive, sure. Anyway. Also, sadly, unlike Pillars of Eternity, we don't have, you know, pets and all those other silly things. Cause yeah, pets and shiny things and all that, meh. Bronze rings, iron rings, copper rings. Basically a money system, I believe. Camp supplies. Our character stats, battlefields, stuff, 200 weapons, which is going up pretty well. Also, yeah, we can level up practically anything. Well, not restricted to, you know, stuff. Because we don't really have a class. Oh yeah, there's my talents. That's a thing. So we have like leadership, defense, power, agility, range, magic. Should my thing in magic be hell? Apparently not. Quest, disfavor. Oh yeah, reps. Quest. Spell creation. Oh fuck, I forgot about spell creation. The spells are created using 2 or more sigils. This is more complicated than it should be. Of course, sigil determines the type of magic, such as fire, frost, or illusion. Expression sigil determines how that card shapes itself into the world, such as a ball of fire, or frost, enchanting a weapon. There are several categories of sigils that can send a spell, granting a greater range, accuracy, or providing bonus secondary effects. So to begin creating a spell, you select a core. Like for example, or sigil of Vigor. Then we select an expression. Expression used to create spells that affect single targets near the caster. No one in your party can learn the spell. Lovely. It also depends on our lore skill. Yeah. So basically we can turn a sigil of Vigor into a sigil of Vigor ball. It sounds stupid, but I think we could potentially do that. Sigil requires a certain amount of lore. Skill to learn and control characters must have a lore skill of at least equal to the spell's total difficulty in order to cast. Also accents. I don't have any of those unlocked, I don't think. Yeah. Unfortunate that. We also only have a certain amount of spells that we can equip to. Like, see that, yeah, 4 about. Once you create a spell, use the assign button to add that spell to one of your active party members. You can assign a spell to more than one character. If you want to modify the spell later after you've discovered more sigils, select the spell from the party member you wish to modify and interface will pop up with that spell's information, allowing you to modify and save your changes. For example, like Searing Bomb. You can customize your spell by selecting different icons if you create multiple spells using the same core and expression, with different accents different accents that do things. But with different accents, these icons help you differentiate your spells. You can each spell has a different default name, but you can customize your spell's name to reflect the essence of the spell. Some accents sigils allow you to modify the area effect or range and all that fucking stuff. Basically, for example, we could. I don't think I can rename it. Oh, you can make a new one though. Oh, it's misses. I don't know what misses are. And that's fire, rep. So mostly favored with the disfavored. Sort of. But if we get up to tier 3, we get the passive. Resolve. And we gain favor the 5. Yay. Wrath, for example. So if we piss them off, we also get a thing. We're going to control those. So basically, yeah, that's what's giving us points. But what about all of our other stuff? We did so much with the disfavored. Hasn't kicked in yet. Also, Archons also have their own unique favor. So yeah, it's a lot of shit to take into effect, and we should be fighting this guy. So I'm gonna smack him in the face. He's gonna attack me soon with Cleaving Strike, which means I'm gonna go over hill.
Sorry, can't.
Attack. 64% chance to hit though. Not great.
On it.
Run now, further along the path for more. There are 6 characters your talents available to your character, leadership, defense, power, agility, blah 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 blah. Event talent for each tier talents unlocks based on how many talent points you have. You haven't filled that tree. Each event has their own talent trees, yeah. Anyway, what do you have? Sure. Can I equip my boots now? And I want this thing. Because it gives me, you know, +2 resolve. And this can go in my... Can it not go in my party stash? Can it not go in my party stash? Because that was like the best thing about Pillars of Eternity was that you could just go... There it goes. Oh, it's on that tab. Quest items. Oh, good. But yeah, that's the best thing about Pillars of Eternity was the fact that you could just basically go and just toss in my stash. So it doesn't take up my inventory space. And for example, all these stashs are healing potions. Boop. This whetstone, I don't really, I'm probably not going to use those next instead. But hey, more healing potions. Can I move the map? Not with that key. Oh. Use WASD key to move map. What do you think? Okay. I should probably go help out over there. There's like shit going on. That monument though. Saint Weeping Over statue pays homage to the Queen. Like her areas. First of a name for each water once flowed from the statue of the entire source of dead brother as well. In 429 the statue began weeping blood. And it has done so ever since. So we've done a lot of reading and shit. So I'm just gonna say, leave RPL. Cause yeah, it's been oof. Still some noisy. Very noisy. Still very noisy, even with pops. So yeah, I'm probably just going to call it here. We'll probably get back to this eventually. But yeah. Eventually I plan on doing Pillars of Eternity. Because I did have some videos recorded in advance when I was fussing around Baldur's Gate and everything. Mostly just to test some of my mods, because I have like mods for like dual wielding weapons, dual wielding guns and stuff. The only problem though was my guns were pink. Which is, I'm not against it, but missing texture guns, sure, that's a thing. But yeah, I was like, okay. Also, I want to point out that Pillars of Eternity is going to be long. I have way too many long series going on. Tyranny is, I'd say, moderately long. It's not very as long as, say, most of our RPGs, thankfully. And also unthankfully, because the game feels too short at times. But we'll get into that later on. But yeah, definitely need to get more shit recorded. Problem though is right now recording shit is, yeah, well, I'm downloading this whole audio distortion. I don't know why it's doing that while downloading. It's very irritating, but I can't really do much about that except for not download. And yeah, unfortunate that. But anyway, hope y'all enjoyed, thank y'all, and have a nice day.